Hi everybody, it's Queen Jelly and welcome to or welcome back to the Toy Box. This is a doll and toy themed YouTube channel that is meant for adult collectors such as myself. However, I do my best to keep it family friendly, so just keep that in mind. With that being said, today's unboxing is going to be of this Buried Secrets Monster High doll, which I'm hoping will be Frankie. We'll talk about that more in just a moment. Before I do that, I just want to remind you that I do my videos in sections. So we'll start with this toy chat here, then we'll turn around, we'll go to the desk, I'll unbox the doll, then of course I'll review it, in the end I'll give my final thoughts, and all the way at the very end, I will also add a clip or photo of the next upcoming video. If you're interested in any of those particular parts, don't forget to use that timeline down below. When I get the chance, I love to put in sections so that way you can just jump around and see what you want to see. I'll never know the difference. Of course, I prefer if you watch the whole thing, but that's totally up to you. With that being said, that clip at the very end, just do keep in mind that it is subject to change. So as of right now, the photo that I'm going to be adding at the end is going to be a stock photo, because yesterday I got a notification that this package was out for delivery and should have been delivered by end of day. It was not, so I'm hoping that that means it will be delivered by the end of day today. But if it doesn't get delivered by the end of day today, it may not get enough time to get filmed and be out by the end of the week. Typically, I like to film about a week ahead of time. Unfortunately, right now, because of things that have happened over this past weekend, I wasn't able to get any additional filming in. So I'm actually only filming literally the day before the videos go live, just to be honest. So that does affect why I'm able to kind of predict what the next video is going to be, because I don't really have as much time and like pre-recorded videos to just kind of throw in at the end. Again, fingers crossed that should be accurate, but if not, just note that's why it says coming soon and not next up, because that video hopefully will come as soon as I can, but there may just be some other videos in between depending on when the items get delivered. Does that make sense? So back on track to today's video, it's going to be about this Buried Secrets doll. So in the first series of the Buried Secrets line, they were dressed in little pajamas, and they also had this kind of same box design, but you could kind of pinch this apart and squish this and you would see a little symbol underneath here that would tell you which doll was inside. I have not watched any unboxings of these, but from my understanding, that is not the case this time. Instead, you can kind of squish this. I've squished it a couple times by now, but you can see that little bit of blue there. And that indicates that this should be the Frankie doll inside. I'm really hoping so, because that's the only one I plan on getting right away. I've been being very particular about my dolls just in general, but especially with like my Monster High dolls. I've only been getting one, maybe two from a set right away. And then after that, I have to wait for the rest to either go on clearance, go on sale, or go to like a discount location. Anything like that, just to kind of save a little bit of money. I'm still trying to find the Scary Sweet Birthday Cupid. Once I find her, she will go on my channel as soon as I can. So if you're interested in that, she will be coming as soon as I can find one. But for the most part, it's gonna kind of be like hit or miss whether or not I get a new release. I usually try to focus on Frankie because they are my favorite from G3. But if there's another doll in the series that I like a little bit more, they may just have to wait a little bit before they come home. It kind of just depends on what I have available for funds that week, what else I've bought, all that, you know, that fun stuff that you have to really think about now more than ever. But anyway, I'm just pretty glad to have this one, because they've been pretty inconsistent on whether or not they're sending out this second series or if they're sending out the first series. I know that's been an issue on both Amazon and it seems to be in store. This is the only Frankie that the store that I went to had, and they did not have a lot of them at all. And the next time I went to that store, it was series 1 again. So it's been really hit or miss on finding them. So I'm just glad that I was able to find this one. And again, that's why I'm really hoping that I'm right and that it's Frankie in here, because I don't really know if I'll have another opportunity anytime soon to get Frankie instead. With all that being said, I think I'm ready to go ahead and move to the desk and get this unboxed. So don't forget to do all the fun YouTube things like, comment, and subscribe. It really makes a difference for this channel, especially something as small as a like really can change whether or not we get support. So I do appreciate you for just watching, but I also appreciate you if you interact with the content. Also, I like to remind you, if you've been watching my videos, make sure you're subscribed, because sometimes I've even been guilty of it. I'll watch a creator for a while and think I'm subscribed and just never realize that I never did it. So take this time to check that, and I will see you on the disc. So I want to address something super quick. When I unboxed this Frankie, I did give them a new body that is articulated. So this is the original body, which is why I brought them over. And then this is the head from the Series 1 Frankie, along with their outfit, of course. I don't anticipate doing that with this one, specifically because they potentially have a pink leg and I don't have another body that has a pink leg. So it will just kind of depend, because I was comfortable with changing this one because, as you can see, they both have the same gray blank leg. And so it didn't really change the design of the doll. So it'll kind of just depend on whether or not they have the pink leg. Now, I think the Scary Sweet Frankie has a pink leg. So I will not be buying two at full price just to give this one articulated body. But if they both have pink legs in the future, if I find a cheap Scary Sweet Frankie, I may do another head swap. We'll see. Again, I don't know. It's just in the artwork, they have a pink leg, but I heard that there was back and forth whether or not they actually have them. So we'll find out. So now we have a better angle on the box. It is pink and black, which of course I love. I love that color combo. And then we have kind of like a silvery design in the flags. It says Monster High Buried Secrets, mystery doll plus 5 accessories inside. Contains 1 doll, 1 pair of shoes, and 4 accessories. And then more design on the side. And then here it is on the back, where we can see the 4 dolls that are in this set. So in the previous set, it was Cleo, Claudine, Frankie, and Draculaura. In this one, Cleo got swapped out for a Toralei, which, if you guys have watched my channel before, you'll know I'm not a huge fan of Toralei, especially in G3. So it's gonna be a while until I get that one. The next one on my list is probably Draculaura, but I still anticipate it being a little bit until I'm able to get her. The previous series of these was a pajama theme, so they were like sleepover, kind of like creepover collection. These ones are a little bit more preppy. I don't want to say like dark academia, but like kind of more like that, like more of like a school, like I said, like preppy themed. So we'll see. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm gonna go over this part of the box really quick, but just know I am so excited for this doll because I didn't realize that they were gonna have like basically all black hair. And look at the leg, it's not only pink, but it's also sparkly. Oh, I'm so glad that they actually have this pink leg, because like I said, there was definitely a point when it looked like they weren't gonna have it. So I'll definitely, like you said, look at the Scary Sweet birthday one, and potentially, if it's a match and I can get it for cheap, I may do a body swap, but otherwise I'm definitely not, because I love this leg. Ugh, look at their hair. Okay, like I said, I'm so excited about them. They're so much prettier than I thought they were going to be, but I do want to look at their box really quick. So just like, I did like that this cover looks like a locker this time, which I think is super cute. And then the inside, I think, is supposed to be the inside of the locker, as opposed to last time it was their bedroom. Again, because we're going with more of like a school theme here. So it says, the Frankenmonster secret, unlife hack, always having a pen handy to jot down ideas when they strike like lightning. And then it says it in another language. And then on this side, it says, Frankie Stein thinks it's time that Watsy get a friend, so that they've been doodling monster pets to make in a lab. That is actually an upcoming Frankie doll, so that's kind of fun. Also, don't get me started on how the doll that I've been wanting forever, the Pride doll, apparently is now only being sent out to people who have dolls with issues. And hopefully that means that they're going to eventually start selling them. But I don't want to have, because like, obviously I'm not going to just buy dolls until I get one that's has an issue so that I can get the Frankie that I wanted. But it's really frustrating that the welcoming committee seems to only be available like as a replacement doll and not as something you can actually buy. It's really silly. Anyway, it's like so dark in here. I think it's the weather outside. Let me move my ring light and see if that helps. All right, so like I said, it is supposed to be the inside of their locker. It says Mad Science Fair up there. And then we have one of Cleo's beetles. We have Cleo's backpack, Cleo's purse, Deuce's water bottle, Deuce's cupcake. I don't recognize that tumbler. The preview of the Pet Lab series that's coming out. Oh, look, more welcoming committee. It literally is right there. That I was just talking about. It says Science Fair. We have Frankie's original shoes. I think that's another one of the mystery minis that's coming out. Then we have some items from their core refresh. Then on this side is that image of the purse that was also in the box, which I did notice that there was symbols this time. So I'm not sure if maybe you couldn't reach those or just I didn't, like I said, I didn't know about them this time. I knew that the hack this time was to push in the coffin lid. Hey, look at that. That's the Lego set that I have. That's so cute. So that's, if you see it right there, that's the black and white Frankie Lego set that they released on Mattel Creations. This is Biteology. Those are some more items from their core refresh doll. That's from the Scary Sweet Birthday line that just coming up. And then that's their outfit for the new pet outline. And I think that that's the backpack from their core refresh, if I remember correctly. But yeah, there's a lot going on in here. Let me hang that up. Hopefully there's enough lighting for the rest of the video. It's just I couldn't really see inside the like concave area of their coffin. All right, now we're gonna look at their accessories. This is actually kind of heavy. I'm assuming this is their shoes, and then this is something else. The bags kind of look like little notebooks with lightning bolts on them. Oh, so this is their purse. Interestingly enough, it's a solid piece, which is kind of different for G3, but I mean, I'm not complaining about it. It's not like I could really fit anything in here anyway, but it's just kind of interesting because usually there's like, they're like hollowed out. But again, this is also a budget doll. So if that's where they're cutting the corners to keep the details everywhere else, I'm not going to complain. There is a plaid design on the front with pink lightning bolts that actually match the shorts on the outfit. And then the caution lightning bolt symbol on the front, which is raised. So there is like extra detail. There's also molded detail on the back. The back usually is unpainted, but still has like molded details. There's a little F there for Frankie. And then the handle looks like it's made out of like a chain. So that's all that's in there. And so then this is, okay. So they have, oh, LOL, that's the cup that I didn't recognize. It's right here. It's blue and it kind of looks like it's all cracked and has chains going around the top and the bottom. To me, it kind of looks like a Hercules cup. And then there's some lightning bolts and a straw. They have a pink pen, like they mentioned on the side of the box. A little lightning bolt at the top. And kind of looks like that would be where it would like, that's the like clip. No notepad to go with it, but they have a pen. And then they have a headband, which I love when they still always mold these dots in the side, like they're gonna kajinker them to their heads, but then they don't always. And I just think that's kind of funny. But they have essentially, it looks like a metal piece with like bolts attached to it. So that's really cool. We'll put that on them in a moment. And then their boots are this really pretty dark blue, like kind of navy color. There's a lot of molded details on them. They're like these high heel boots. It says Stein. Yeah, it says Frankie on this one and Stein on this one, which is really cool. I do like the lightning bolt cutouts in the heel. And then the bottom of their shoe looks like metal wiring with the lightning bolt symbol on them. Let's see what they look like all dressed up. And then we'll go over the doll. Now my question is, yes. So on the first Frankie, it was like this too, where the part was removable. So in theory, like I could swap this one with this one if I wanted to. Yes, because it is the same, most likely the same body mold. So that's fun. So as this line continues, you'll be able to swap out the Frankie legs with the different ones. It's something that's fun to know if you like to customize. So now Frankie has on their headband, which is super cute and really helps like push that blue streaks forward. So like I was saying earlier, their hair is almost completely solid black. They just have a few white streaks in it and then the 2 blue highlights at the front. And I think it looks so good on them. Obviously, you can see like this one also has majority black, but then they have the lighter colors in the bangs. So it still has the really light colors near like kind of framing the face. But I just really like how the all black hair looks on this Frankie. It's so beautiful. Speaking of which, this face is amazing. It's just kind of funny with like the very preppy like style of the outfit. Then the face is just so like almost kawaii-esque, almost anime, because like the way that their makeup is done makes their eyes look really big. And then they have the stitching over their nose, kind of like how you would do like in Decora, like the band-aid fashion. But they have the stitching across the nose. They have bolts all across their cheeks. Of course, their scar, but then their blushing's kind of like a pinky purple. They have bright blue lips that match the rest of the makeup. There's some blue lightning bolts on their cheeks. Their staples are pink this time. I think there's actually even more than usual. I think it's usually 1 on this eye, but there's 2 on this eye and 1 on this eye. Again, kind of giving that more like Decora or like anime style with like the like a lot going on. And then they have these zipper pull looking earrings, which honestly feel kind of random for this design, but I'm not against them because they are in a nice silver. And then we have this separate piece, which we've had tie pieces for Frankie before, but this is definitely a different mold. All right, so it kind of looks like a Peter Pan collar, and then it has these extra parts on the side, as well as having this lightning bolt shaped tie. I like that the knot at the top looks like a bolt, and then there is like bolts and rivets all along the tie. It is painted blue and has lightning bolts in it. So I do like that we have extra painted details on there. It's not just like a solid black piece of plastic. Now their outfit is one piece, but it does look like a top and shorts. So it's a blue top with white puff sleeves and then blue and pink like lightning bolt shorts. It is, like I said, one piece that Velcros in the back. And then they have this leg that is a clear sparkly leg. It kind of reminds me of their second Skelectimate Secrets, like the winter one. They had a silver clear leg like this. This one is a pink sparkly leg. And then they have these dark blue boots, like I said, which has Frankie and Stein on the toes. And I just think they are so precious. Because of the way that their arm is, they can kind of hold their purse. If these have the same body molds as they did with the first series, Frankie has the straightest of the arms. They're not as bent as some of the other ones, so she still kind of has to hold it in a little bit of an awkward position. But I'm okay with that. Again, for a budget doll, I don't mind losing a little bit of jointing. If this is how the core dolls were, I would be a little bit more reserved in buying them, but for $14-15, I'm not against having limited mobility, especially because the face on this doll and the hair is just amazing. And again, I really love this pink leg. I'm hoping that the Scary Sweet one has a similar leg. I think though it's probably like a solid pink and not this like clear pink. So this one probably will not get a rebody just because I do really like that pink leg. But I actually am fine with that because these solid body ones are a lot easier to take places. They don't pose as well for like photography, but as far as just like kind of keeping in a bag with you, they're not bad. Because again, you don't have to worry too much about them. Like you like pull them out of the bag and they're like in all sorts of weird or funky poses. They're in the bag and then you just pull them out and they're ready to go, you know. Of course, they do have rooted hair, so you do have to be careful with that, but it is nice and soft and doesn't feel super dry. I don't know what it's made out of. Usually with these cheaper ones, it is poly, but if it is poly, at least it feels nice for right now. It doesn't feel like super stiff. It seems like it's floating really nice, but I'm sure that someone who is much more experienced could give you a better answer on that. As far as I'm concerned, though, I am really happy with this Frankie. I don't think I've been unhappy with a Frankie though, so take that of course with a grain of salt, but I really like this design. Again, I love the black hair. I love all the extra on the makeup. The outfit, in my opinion, could be better. It could use some work. I would rather it be 2 pieces just because I don't like how high-waisted these shorts sit on them, but overall, I'll take it. for again, this amazing face, I will take a not so amazing outfit. I hope that makes sense, because this is a budget doll. There's not too much more to say, so I will say thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you very soon in the next one. Bye. And like I said, stick around to see a preview of an upcoming video. Hopefully it'll be the next one, but if not, it'll be coming soon anyway. So look what just got here just in time to get added to the end of that other video. Yay! So this will be the next one up on the channel.